Welcome, everybody, to the F4 Hunger Awareness Show.
It's my goal to feed 1 billion people before I die.
We want to bring awareness around the issue of hunger and food insecurity.
7 to 8 million people served so far. With the sole goal of eradicating world hunger by connecting sources of food to recipients in need. Fiorenza's Food for Friends.
Hi, Derek Fiorenza here with the F4 Hunger Awareness Show, and we have a very, very special guest with us today. A gentleman I went to high school with, Bishop Shanahan, and it's amazing. We just celebrated our 20th reunion, our 20-year high school reunion, and our guest today is Mr. Pete Marziano. Pete, how are you?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I am doing great. Thanks for your help supporting the reunion. You did a great job helping me kind of put that together and plan it.
Thank you. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was fun.
it was fun, and you rocked out at the actual reunion. You were playing amazing. You sounded incredible.
Thank you.
So, Pete, we just want to kind of learn a little bit about the work that you do with your music. Obviously, you're very passionate about it. You've been playing, I guess, most of your life, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to be helping out this year at the F4 Westchester Chili Cook-Off. You're going to be one of the musical acts performing, which will be awesome. Tell us a little bit about your background growing up. When did you start playing? What inspired you to start playing?
So I started playing when I was 13. Um, my mom picked me up from Malvern Prep, and I guess Dave Matthews, Tim Reynolds, Live at Luther College album came out, and it was just those two on acoustic guitars, and I was in love with the album. And on the ride home, uh, I had put it in to listen to, and number 41 came on, and I just casually said to my mom, I want to be able to do what these guys do. And sure enough, like that birthday a couple months later, there was a guitar um, sitting in the living room for me, and that was when I was 13 years old, and now I'm, should I even say, 38. and and I haven't stopped. Like I just played constantly growing up. You know, ignored homework and hit the guitar for forever. And yeah, so just still really passionate about it, still into it. Yeah, I've met a ton of good people through music, and that's done a lot of cool stuff, and still obsessed with it. So
So you were 13. What grade were you in when you got the guitar?
sixth or seventh. I want to say sixth, but it might have been seventh. Can't quite remember.
Got it. And where were you going to school at the time?
Malvern Prep. I just went for sixth, seventh, and eighth grade there. Then I went to Shanahan because my sister was there, and met a bunch of her friends and thought they were all good people, and kind of wanted to get in the mix of like a co-ed school for high school.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So then when you got to Shanahan, you'd been playing for 2 or 3 years by that time.
Yeah, yeah. I'd assume it was three, right? I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
around there.
And did you teach yourself, Pete, how to play? And if so, how did you learn? How did you do it?
So I took two or three lessons, and there was a Newtown Square at this place, Dragon Eddie's Music, and this guy Craig was my teacher. He was super cool guy, long hair, super mellow. um, so it took like after the first two lessons, the third lesson he taught me how to read tablature, which is like numbers on a staff that represents each guitar string, and that it totally clicked. I was like, I can look this up on the internet. I could get my own tablature. And once I kind of got into the groove of reading the tablature that week after the lesson, I just told my parents, like, I could do this. I could just learn it from tablature, and then would go on the internet and try and pick the easier songs at first and just use tabs to learn them. And yeah, just went to town doing that.
Did you start with chords or with notes, or was there?
Uh, I think that, the first lesson was picking Ode to Joy and reading the staff, like the music staff to Ode to Joy. So I guess you could say I started just kind of picking. And part of his lesson was like he'd show me a chord or two at the end of it and be like, just play around with these. And I was pretty intrigued already, so I would just I don't know, I just kept looking them up. Uh, I don't know, I was really passionate about it early on. So after every lesson, I practiced for like 5, 6 hours a day. It was I just really wanted to be able to do it. So
It was your love.
oh yeah, definitely.
And what about music just pulled you in?
Um, always loved to sing as a kid. I guess the adults in my life were pretty complimentary about it, so it was easy to kind of want to fall into it. Maybe um, I always just related with it. My dad used to play Beatles albums all the time, and Pink Floyd, and listen to just good stuff. And then my older sister Adrian was 5 years older than me, and at a certain point in high school, she got a guitar and she was singing, and I always looked up to her in general, but I when she was doing it, it made me, you know, kind of want to do it more. But yeah, just always music always hit me hard. I always just had a passion for it. I was surrounded by good music, thankfully, because my dad's taste in music and my older sister Adrian's taste in music were great. So just naturally loved it and stuck with it.
Did you sing in any choirs growing up?
No, not really. I I guess I might have. I think I tried for like a week or two. Like I think my mom was just like, "Why don't you go sing in a choir?"
Yeah.
But no, I was always into like kind of rock music and into I don't know jam bandy stuff. So it's kind of like a different beast. But I appreciate choir music for sure.
Yeah, so how did you learn how to sing so well? Did you teach yourself that too?
Uh, I think that I just got lucky. My mom's got a really good voice. Um, and she'd always sing around the house too. And I would just try and emulate what I like to hear and try and make the notes sound right when I do it. And I guess I lucked or dumbed into being able to, I guess.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple bands. Obviously, Dave Matthews was an influence. You also mentioned Beatles and Pink Floyd. Which musicians have influenced you the most on your journey?
uh, Obviously, Dave Matthews Band first. I guess I went to my first Dave concert when I was in third grade. My
Huh.
dad took me, and like it was just on repeat in my room for too many years to admit without being a little embarrassed about it. Kind of somewhat continues today. But aside from them, I think that, you know, Counting Crows is still one of my favorites.
Great band.
Adam, yeah, Adam Duritz, the lead singer, I think he's one of the best lyricists ever.
Pretty deep stuff.
Oh my God, the words are incredible.
Have you seen him live?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw
yeah,
them with my dad this summer. They were really good. They were playing with Gaslit Anthem,
it's great.
which is my favorite band. But I got a chance to hear him, and you're right. The words are pretty deep. Nobody really writes songs with so many words. Bruce Springsteen, but like you don't really see that a lot.
Yeah. So Counting Crows, David Gray is huge to me too. I think my buddy Steve Foley, who went to Shanahan too, who was the drummer in Addison Grove. It was kind of that band that I was in right after high school. Um, that him and I kind of worked relentlessly to make happen. He was huge into David Gray, and when I initially heard David Gray, I like didn't give him a second look. He sounded good, but it just I don't know. I must have been consuming something else or a million other pieces of music, and I didn't go back to it. But Steve often had David Gray on, and then uh, when I started listening, I was like, holy crap, this guy's incredible. So he's one of my favorites. Definitely an influence. Always liked Jack Johnson, that type of stuff. So I'd say my big three would be Counting Crows, David Gray, and Dave Matthews Band, for sure.
And Jack Johnson, he just got one of my favorite singers, Brian Fallon. He covered some of his stuff.
Cool.
Is he the one that wrote that song, "Wishing, Hope, and Praying"? Is that him?
Uh,
Always
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, that's him. Sitting, waiting, wishing, or whatever.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
waiting for you. Yeah, that's awesome. So it's neat because I won't say that they're not mainstream. I guess in some ways Dave Matthews is, but like they weren't like the most prominent. It wasn't like you said, oh, like Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty. These are like some lesser known artists, but still respected that
Oh
you got
God.
your inspiration from.
Yeah, and I do love Tom Petty a lot. Like I play on a hockey team once a week and been on that team, God, I think for 13 years now. And for some reason, like Tom Petty is that team's anthem.
I love it.
And it just, makes me love him even more than I always did.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah,
Are
for
there
sure.
any Tom Petty songs that you like that are lesser known that people should give a listen to?
I wouldn't say lesser known, but Wildflowers is like,
Great song.
I love that tune. That's probably my favorite of his.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's all I really got there.
So yeah, one I'll give everybody one too. So off the album "She's the One," there's a song called "Walls," and that was amazing. Really
I
good.
know.
It was for that movie. She's the One. So if someone wanted to listen to Jack Johnson or David Gray or Dave Matthews, are there a couple of songs you'd recommend that would be a good starting place?
For Dave Matthews, there's always this debate, what's your favorite Dave song to like, obsessive Dave fans like me, and it's like I can give you about 40, but like but
It's like, how much time do you have?
yeah, so if you want like deep spiritual like song that hits hard, kind of covers a hair of religion and I don't know, maybe a little pain. Bartender is an amazing song by Dave Matthews Band. Um, I guess the song that made me start playing music was number 41. Gosh, David Gray, I have a ton that I love. Let me try and narrow that scope real quick. My Oh My is a pretty amazing song. Um, Something more recent. Uh, there's a song that's really pretty piano music that for some reason I've always loved. It's called Kathleen, by David Gray. That's really pretty. Song Jackdaw, by David Gray is incredible. And did you ask about a third band as well?
Counting Crows too. You
Counting,
mentioned.
oh God, Counting Crows. Uh, man, I could go forever about them too. Let's see. A Murder of One is just a great song by them. Anything off the album August and Everything After, like that's a front to back, to me, top 3 lifetime album.
Wow.
I would go, if you want to be really sad, Sullivan Street's a good, like, I need a good cry song or something, like that's an amazing song. Anna Begins is one of my favorites. A fun song by Counting Crows, Up All Night, is one of my favorites too. Yeah, so those are good ones to check out for sure.
And have these artists influenced you in terms of also writing? Do you like to write music?
I mean, uh, now that I'm, you know, in the upper echelon of aging, I'm
You're
kidding.
still young, Pete. Come on.
More so of responsibilities, like 2 kids, job, music, and everything I got going on. My writing has been next to non-existent. I'll write like poetry nowadays in a book on the occasional, like I'm gonna actually relax tonight
Yeah.
which is occasional. Um, yeah, definitely. I mean, it in the early days of me writing, it was, probably subconscious that
Yeah.
I would kind of adopt some of their styles or whatever. Counting Crows and Dave Matthews Band, both kind of the lyrics. There's like a whole lot of words in a little amount of space, so it's not like your general pop tune. So
Right.
I guess that I kind of took on that characteristic a bit in my songs or my writing. But as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, there's no denying that their styles influenced me for sure. But I used to be uh, a huge consumer of reading poetry, like Robert
Mm.
Frost and
Mm.
Pablo Neruda, and quietly, I never admitted that. You would have never thought that in high school while I
No.
was skipping homework and being a C to B minus student because I didn't care about anything but music. I was reading poetry at night and Edgar Allan Poe too, but that's a little different. I don't know if I drew any influence there, but yeah, I used to go to Barnes and Noble and buy some poetry books, and they'd always be on the nightstand. So you know, I
Amazing.
think at the height of songwriting for me was I'd just be consuming poetry and just have a notebook next to me all day, every day, or in class, I'd be, something would pop up. I'd hear somebody say something, and I thought it was a cool way to say it rather than you know, a phrase or something that was just different than normal. I'd like jot it down, and then I had this book, Writing Down the Bones, which is like a writing exercise book because I used to be all about writing lyrics or poetry, and that started in third grade before I could even play guitar. I would write poetry, but Writing on the Bones, I had that book, and I'd make it a point to sit down and do writing exercises at night. Again, ignoring homework and whatever else. So my English teacher, Miss Belafonte, would have been proud if she knew how much I was doing writing and reading at home, but there was no evidence in school, that's for
Uh,
sure, other than me writing in my notebooks in their classes if they noticed.
that is so funny. So is the songwriting process really difficult? Like, how do you get yourself started and saying, I'm gonna write a song? Do you actually make a conscious decision? It's songwriting time and you put an hour aside, or does it just come to you? What's that process like?
um, it varies really. Like I always wanted to write a ton. So for me, like a lot of it happens organically. Like I'll be kind of I'll play music, in the basement or whatever, or I'll have a friend over and we're just, you know, strumming and trying to be creative. I had this duo partner, Bo, um, all throughout high school. He went to Shanahan as well, Bo Baudelaire. So we'd all get together at Steve Foley's house and we'd play music for hours. And then when we were tired of playing songs, it'd be like, well, let's just see if we can make something, or everyone would be at a party and I'd sneak off with my guitar and I'd just try and get creative for a little bit because I had an idea. I guess I never had to force it back then. So I guess early on, it would just be kind of organic. It would just happen. I'd get an idea and write it in my notebook. If it was a lyrical idea, I'd always kind of have my eyes and ears open back then. So some of it comes from, just jamming and finding chords that like, oh wow, I like that chord. Let me just improvise until I find the next section of the song, or I'll just throw my hands around, make shapes on the guitar and see if they match. And
Hmm.
that's kind of like it always just, the music writing happens somewhat organically. I don't really have a structure to it. Um, uh, but I usually like to get the guitar down first, and then I can page through that book of all the ideas that I had written down, and or if I'm stuck on something for a while that I really think is a nice idea lyrically, like I'll keep it in mind for if whatever comes out of the guitar when I'm sitting down being creative, if the melody I imagine the lyrics might go, if the ideas work, then I'll use them or I'll just start fresh. Like
Mhm.
it's really unstructured. But yeah, so nowadays though, it always happens just me playing guitar and I'll come up with an idea and then I'll I'm kind of lazy about it nowadays because I don't have as much time as I used to on my hands. So I'll come up with a bunch of guitar ideas, and then I'll see if I can't just sing like kind of ad lib like a good opening line or ad lib a good first few lines, or I'll just kind of do a bit of stream of consciousness for a bit. See what happens, see if anything sticks. So that's kind of the process now. But when I was younger and thought it was unstructured, it might have been a hell of a lot more structured.
How many songs have you written in total?
um, probably like probably like 35 that I've played out, or maybe 40 that I've like played and are pretty much done. And then I have a good like 10 or 15 that I play at home that I like, but like still need something and I don't know what it is, but like or they're just personal, maybe. I don't know. I don't really think about it, but I just have never played them out. And then I have like the ADD 75 songs that are like 7 lines and out, like, because I haven't finished them, because, that's just, it's there. They're fun. It's just stuff that if I sit down and I want to play and try and make something in the time allotted. I'll go to them and they're there. But so I
Do
think the answer to your question could probably be summed up with less words by saying 35 or 40.
With those songs, do you have them memorized so that you go up and play the chords and the words, or do you actually still need like the sheets of music when you go out and play them?
It's all memorized. It's always been really like the only time I'll bring a sheet is if I have like, I guess a good example would have been I was playing on St. Patrick's Day and I learned a couple Irish tunes, and like I don't listen to them in particular, and it's not that I don't like them, it's just I don't do that. So they have a lot of lyrics sometimes, and I needed a sheet for the lyrics. Like the guitar works easy, but remembering lyrics when you're trying to crunch learning new songs for a given day. That I can't do anymore. But
When you play live, do you have everything, both the cover songs and the songs you've written in your head?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
How
dude,
do you do that? How do you memorize all the words and the lyrics and the notes and chords?
it's like the same thing as a vocab test at Shanahan. You just repetition. Like
Yeah,
it's relentless repetition, or it's just songs. I mean, I've always been the kind of person that doesn't learn covers unless I really enjoy the song. So like I'm not
got it.
not out there trying to play a bunch of sing-alongs. I want I respect that, and I
Yeah.
should. I wish I did. I would have or do. I wish I, but it's songs that I've listened to and enjoy that I learned. So like the lyrics I generally already have down. It's just a matter of learning the guitar to it, and then that's relatively easy because there's only so many chords in a song. But the words are always the hardest to memorize.
It's interesting because I've talked to other musicians, and a lot of them now will bring out their tablet or their iPad, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
And even at these big concerts, sometimes and I heard this is one of our interviews, we actually learned about this. Those big speakers up front, sometimes you think they're speakers, but on the other side of it is like a teleprompter,
Yeah,
and the musicians can kind of see where they're at in the songs.
that's
These are
awesome.
like professionals, and I just find it like it's wild. And I know the musicians have done this in the past, but these bands, they go up there and they play, and when they're able to do it from memory, it's like, think about something as complicated as a lead pattern right, in a band and
Mhm.
remembering the same notes that you're supposed to be playing. And I don't know if they try to match the albums that they're playing, but I just, whether you're playing a song, singing a song, playing chords, lead patterns, and to do it as like a group or by yourself from memory is an insane skill. I have so much respect for you and anybody that can do
I mean, repetition, my man.
that.
I I always respect the people that do bring the iPads because they're being pros about it. Even like local musicians that have them,
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's a good idea. Why risk forgetting something? But I just, I'm coming around. I'll figure it out.
I think it's amazing. Are there any themes that when you're writing that connect your songs? Can if I were to read Pete's 35 lyrics for his 35 songs, would I see any themes that kind of connect through all the pieces?
um, I guess maybe. I've never really looked at them as a whole. But early on, lots of love songs.
Yeah.
Little young guy writing for the catch of the day, I guess, or not the catch of the day, the catch of my affection in a day. Like I look at this person and oops, I fell in love. Like here's your song, love me too. Like
Very, very relatable.
yeah, and then
We've all been there.
yeah, and then I guess yeah, I don't know, kind of on the spot there. I think
I
that
know it's an interesting question though, just because you listen to some artists and there's like a melancholic undertone sometimes. Like certain
mhm,
musicians have like a melancholic undertone, or some musicians will have like a hopeful like tilt or hopeful lean, and you listen
yeah,
to the music and there might be more of like there's been pain, but there's hope for a better tomorrow, something like that.
yeah. So I think that I have a few songs that are somewhat like upbeat and uplifting. Um, and I think that I started playing music to avoid, or not avoid, but to deal with certain things,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of dark in some of my
Yeah.
tunes, but and most of them probably, I don't know, I haven't counted, but yeah, there's definitely some undertone of pain in them.
Some pain, which is very relatable, like love songs, pain.
Yeah, pain, love, and then I guess there's some hope in some.
Yeah.
We'll end on that on about what they are, I guess.
Is it being a musician, do you feel very like vulnerable? Is it hard to be vulnerable? Are you being vulnerable as a musician, do you feel?
Mhm.
No.
um, I don't think about it really.
Because you're playing in front of people. It's like they like your stuff, they might not like your stuff. Does that go through your head at all ever?
Uh, so the first couple years I played certainly, but the one thing about my mom is that she wouldn't take no for an answer in her own funny way. Um, so she'd put me in front of any guests, any friends that came over, any family, even though I didn't feel ready. I told her I didn't want to do it. She was just like,
Do it.
but in a supportive way,
Yeah.
she would.
You can do it.
And so I got practice for the first few years at home, and then I started doing open mic nights. And then once I felt comfortable, like early on, I didn't really feel the fear. I was more so excited to share like what I could do. Um, and then that came full circle though, 10 years in, I'm I'm playing paid gigs and like happy hours and like recurring gigs at bars in Westchester and eventually I guess I was too busy to learn more songs as I was working an IT job
Hmm.
and had a young daughter at the time and I'd be going there being like, what can I pull out? Like I've just been playing similar sets for a year now at this place. Like, and then I'd put pressure on myself and then I would think about everything and I would get in my own head and tell myself that like, you know, this isn't good enough or whatever. So I went through like a year or two of that and then But as of late, like as of maybe 2 years ago, just man, like I'm just having fun with it again as without any inner monologue, without beating myself up. Like there was a good stretch where it was nerve wracking, and I was like, why are you doing this? You've been doing this for what, 25 years now? 20, yeah, I've been playing for 25 years, and somewhere around year 20, I was having like an existential crisis about how I can entertain people and but no, like for most of the span, I was just more so happy to be doing it. Nowadays, every gig's just been great. Like for the last couple of years, I've just been really appreciating it. I'm really settled in. I found if I'm just within myself doing it because I love it and not putting pressure, there's no reason to put your own pressure on yourself, right?
Totally.
You got enough external pressure, but so once I stopped beating myself up, uh, I just I really got back to enjoyment with it, and so yeah, I don't think about it. I haven't, for the most part, I haven't, but there's a good stretch where I did for sure, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I appreciate you being open and honest because hopefully that will inspire some other musicians that might be going through similar. They're starting out or they're having one of those crises. I really would like to understand your mentality, your psyche, preparing for a gig, being at the gig, performing, and then afterwards. What are the emotions like as you're preparing? You're in the moment, and then you're finished. Can you just take us through that kind of experience?
Um, I think the preparation is all the time, and an effort just at home, just making sure I'm comfortable with everything I'm playing, and I like to, if I have a couple gigs in a week, like I'll spend a night, a couple nights before, just like playing songs just to make sure that my hands are ready and whatever else. But uh, I'm probably not a good person to give much advice because I've always been a bit unstructured with it. So for me, the only thing I do to really, like, I have a rule if I'm playing a gig at night, like I'm drinking tons of water
Yep.
because I've been singing for a long time
Yep.
and probably improperly. So I'm trying to make sure that whatever I've got at 38 is still, uh, adequately maintained. I try and eat, you know, I generally eat okay. I don't, but on gig days, I make sure that, like, you know, I eat an adequate lunch and breakfast. Usually they're during dinner, I guess. Um, so just drinking plenty of water, eating healthy enough that there's some fuel in the tank, and when I guess so from there, I guess driving to the gig, I'll just kind of think of you know what song am I feeling to start. I like, admittedly, nowadays I find that if I just play what is on my heart rather than thinking of what's gonna make the room happy, it goes better for me, at least. It's a mixed bag probably for different people, but so while I'm driving, I'm like thinking about what I want to play first and second just to get settled in. But I'm very unstructured. I don't make set lists. I just kind of go. I'll think of the first song I want to play, second song maybe, third song maybe, and then while I'm playing that song, I'll kind of be feeling out the room, looking around, seeing if people are enjoying. Um, and I'll just kind of pick a song that's next, maybe during the first one, or um, it's kind of like a read the room game for me. Or if it's just a place that where your background, it's like stay within yourself and keep confident. I think that's most important, is staying within yourself and being confident about it. Like, you don't need to put pressure on yourself. But yeah, so ride in is thinking of the first couple songs. When I get there, it's set up, saying hello to the bar owners or the bartenders, or people that showed up, and you know, most importantly, having a good time. Because if you're having a good time, then it's kind of like if you're in a good mood, people feel it. I think the same goes for playing live somewhere, at least in my experience, for sure. So that's my mindset. Yeah.
Do you get nervous before you start the set?
Not usually, but I'm human, I guess. If I'm having a lack of confidence because of something that happened earlier in the week and the next day, I'm a human being. So there are those moments where I don't feel good enough per se, but generally with music, like I love it a ton, and I'm ready to go usually. And playing live is fun. Like I just generally have fun, and it's something I really love doing. So yeah.
So for me, someone who admires just musical talent, I think it's incredible. You and I know I play at church, I enjoy it, but there's a difference between playing at church with a group than playing out by yourself or with a band. What is it like through your eyes performing in front of other people? What is that feeling like? Are you present in the moment? Are you really just like in a groove? Are you not feeling anything? Like, what do you feel during those gigs?
So there are like a few different types of gigs that you know there will be certain rooms where it's a classy place. You're in the background. You're here for the paycheck, and people will come up after and say, "Great job," or you'll get the occasional like head nod from somebody at a table. For those gigs, it's 100% stay within yourself. Don't be too loud, and then that's that. Then there are certain bars that like I love playing. For example, like Gypsy Blue and Ambler, Jameson Poorhouse and Jameson, PA, um, Ross and Co. and Hatboro. Um, like I would say those three places, for some reason or another, there are people out there drinking and they really like live music. And like when I go there, my mindset is like I do actually focus on the people in the room
Mm.
because I can feed off of their energy in that scenario, and you know I'm I'm excited to play those rooms. So they might just get a little more out of me just off the bat from that. But you can certainly tell when you're playing, like if it's going right in a given room. I will be engaged with people in the room. Like I'll notice somebody really enjoying it. It feels good. It feels great. And even in the stuffy rooms that your background, like you'll have good conversations at the end, and it'll feel nice. But the fun pubs are my favorite usually, where people are just there to see live music.
It's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah.
It's awesome. So I played football in college, and I was a kicker and a punter. And I remember Pete when I would perform.
D Rock.
Yeah, I got to do my job and catch the ball and punt the ball. And there'd be sometimes I go out there I was a little anxious and nervous, and then other times I go out there and I would be so in the moment, so focused on it. It was as if my body were doing it, and I was watching myself do it. I guess kind of like out of body experience. And then there were other times where I was just in a groove, where I went out there with such confidence, and I felt like just invincible, which is a crazy word to say, but in the sense that I felt so in control of my craft. And I absolutely knew, without being arrogant, I just knew I was going to do my job well that day.
Yeah.
So like there were days when I was a little less sure of myself. Some days I felt like there's nothing. I had a great week of practice. I'm ready to roll. And other days when I felt like my body was just taking over. Is it like that when you're performing? Do you ever have those types of differences in emotions?
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there are days where you wake up and you're just like so down on yourself, and, and
I'm
you're
here.
like you're like I can't. there's no possible way I can show up to this tonight and be any bit effective. Like it's, there's some you're going through something at home with you're having like emotional trauma, and then you have to go please a bar full of happy people, and you're like, I don't want to be here. Like
Yes.
so that certainly happened. And but then there are other days where like you just have the confidence going, and you're just excited, and no different than anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there are those invincible days, and there are those days where you show up feeling like that lack of confidence, and then you just have the gig of a lifetime for no reason whatsoever, and people are accepting of it, and you meet good people, and it's a huge pick me up. Like,
Yeah.
who knows why the ebbs and flows happen? I don't, but I'm riding the wave, I guess.
So when you finish up your gigs, what is it like to unwind that evening? Are you full of energy? Are you completely spent? You pass out right away? You gotta go home, have something to eat? Like, what is that unwinding process?
um, Depends on who comes out to the gig. Depends on how much I have in the tank, like, but yeah, um, I think that it's, unless it's like a significantly different gig that something amazing happened, like there's no, I can't sleep. That was so great. Um, uh, but there's not much like adrenaline after anymore. But there's things to appreciate, I guess. um,
Yeah.
so for me, I guess if I'm hungry, I eat. If I thirsty, I drink.
There
If
you go.
I'm tired, I go to bed. If I'm good to go, I'll stay out and up. Like it's yeah, it's whatever's going on that day. Bit unstructured.
What encouragement would you be able to give to a young musician starting out today that might be a little timid or a little insecure, maybe has these dreams of playing, but they're not sure they're quite good enough or that they can do it? What would you tell them?
Stay within yourself. Like, what are you doing it for? Um, like every ounce of what I've done and what I'm doing uh, by playing music was filling a gap for me, and it was something I always wanted to do. It was the passion behind it. It is the passion behind it to keep going. Like it's you know, do it because you love it. Do it because you want it. Stick with it. There will be plateaus where you can practice for 3 hours a night and you're not going to make any progress. There will be highs where everything's just going to click. um, you'll have plenty of people, no matter how well you do. You'll get that meathead bro that like comes up to you and is just like, hey man, play something good, huh? Like, that's it's not always happen, doesn't always happen, but you know stay within yourself. If you're passionate about it, protect it, and you know keep working hard at it. Get through those plateaus and enjoy it. I mean, you're doing it to have fun, really. Like you're doing it to fill your soul, right? You're not doing it to become, well, maybe you're doing it to become a rock star or whatever, but I think that probably every rock star started doing it because they wanted it, they needed it, they craved it. It made them happy. Um, so anyway,
Hmm.
uh,
That's such good advice. Stay within yourself. I love that. And that's good for anything, Pete. Doesn't that just mean music? I often say, comparison is the thief of joy. I often say when we compare ourselves to other people, then, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And we shouldn't really look at life in terms of comparison, although that's what everybody seems to do. We should
yeah,
look at it in terms of, as Ernest Hemingway said, and you like poetry,
yeah,
he said, my goal is to be better than I was yesterday.
that's perfect.
So basically, it's what you're saying. Stay within yourself, and the only person you should compare yourself to is who you are and who you were. And how can you improve incrementally each day that you're alive, building on top of who you are and not saying this person's there, that person's there. you're never going to be satisfied or fulfilled doing that.
Yep.
You mentioned that your daughter, does she play music? You have a daughter?
Oh yeah, my daughter. Yeah. Yeah, she's a little wrecking ball, man. She's very,
Really?
very good. Yeah,
What does she play?
she plays guitar.
Okay.
Um,
Do you teach her?
she taught herself, and you know, I'd love to sit down and teach her a million things. She's asked, like, how do you play that song? And I'll show her the chord. You know, she heard me playing, I guess, Ants Marching, and she was like, I want to learn how to play that. And and it's not an easy song. And she was only maybe 2 months in, and I was like, well, I'll show you the chord that he plays. And then the second chord, like the main chords. And she's like, no, like, show me what you just did. So I sat her down and I showed it to her, and she just in my face, like she got it. She's a total natural. So yeah,
Amazing.
but anyway, she teaches herself. Like I can't even take credit. I came home from a gig or from work one day, and I heard my guitar. It must have been a gig because it was like 10 or 11 at night, and I heard my guitar downstairs in the basement. I heard a guitar playing, being strummed, and I was like, "That's live. Who's in my house?" Like Casey doesn't play. Ava certainly doesn't play, and I don't think Anya does. So who's playing my guitar? We have friends over, so I like start going down the stairs, and I kind of peek my head around to see, and my 13-year-old is just there strumming her heart out, and
Oh,
like I had no idea she was doing it. I don't even know like where she was practicing that we didn't hear it, like, and you know so anyway, I just stood at the top of the stairs with my iPhone camera out, creepily videoing her from the stairs between sniffling, because it was moving to me, like to hear this kid, to hear like my daughter at the same age that I started playing guitar, actually doing good and playing it. Like that was that was moving. And gosh, that must have been 8 9 months ago or so. And she's just got a beautiful voice, and she's just really getting better at guitar every day. Like she's something. She's coming to a theater near you.
you must be so proud of her, Pete.
You have no idea.
I mean, that's got to just make your whole like inside well up because you're this fantastic musician, and now to
Thanks.
see your daughter do it.
I think she's gonna be much better than me, man.
Oh wow.
We'll see.
Well,
I hope
we
so.
look forward to hearing her too. Do you think she'll ever play out live with you, Pete?
She has, yeah. She's played. I think we made an Instagram video of her playing Billie Eilish song or singing over my guitar. So she's come out to a bunch of gigs and done that. And like the first time she did it, like the entire bar at Jameson Poorhouse, the one I mentioned earlier, they were like roaring, like, and
Wow.
tons of people came up to her like, "Oh my god!" Like, so it was really cool. Like I like it was great to see. So anyway, she's played at like 4 or 5 or 6, maybe 10 gigs. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe she'll play during the cook-off for a
That'd be
while.
cool.
I'm gonna
What's
nudge
it
her.
like? What's it like having your daughter on stage with you?
That is the best. I
Yeah.
just smile from ear to ear, just staring like
She's only
trying not
13.
to
That's
stare too much.
incredible.
Yeah. Try not to stare too much, try not to embarrass her, but all I want to do is, be that proud dad, like, you know.
What
So yeah,
what a gift to be able to share that with your daughter because you're so darn passionate about music and to see that in your daughter is just like, wow.
that is wild. It was
You
great.
can't find the words for it probably.
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. It
Yeah,
was big.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, a couple of things I wanted to chat about. I'm gonna actually share some of your pages now so the audience can listen to you. Do you have any music on Spotify or YouTube?
No, Derek, if I'm honest, I've never recorded an album, and
Oh,
like
okay.
that's been long overdue. You know, I've got 3 different recording studio sessions. One from my band that sounds really nice and clean, but at the time we were all too much of perfectionists to move it, to push it. And then I have two like solo uh recording studio things that I've done, but I've never put them out there. So, I think that this is my year though. So
I think so too. I
we'll
think
get
so
on the
too.
Spotify.
You got 35 songs to record. And that's
Yeah,
at least three albums, Pete. I
yeah, I
think
guess so.
I think you're rocking and rolling. I just want to maybe focus on as we kind of wrap up here. So you can be found. Pete Marziano is your website, and then on Facebook and Instagram, people can follow you. So in terms of giving back, you're helping us out with the chili cook-off this year. This is an event to bring the community together to raise awareness for hunger, for food insecurity. There's a lot of people suffering in our community. Why is giving back important to you on a personal level? Why do you want to give your time to support not just this cause, but the idea of helping other people? Why is that important?
I mean, it's just to me, it's always been kind of innate that you want others to be happy and succeed, and I uh, I always try to give back because I feel like I've been blessed and helped with you know a good life. I lucked into it, other people didn't, and it's definitely our responsibility to do what we can to help others in general. We're all one. We're all a team here. you know,
Yep.
None of us are getting out of here alive, so we may as well try and make everybody live well while we can. And you know, I've always loved the event too. So there's that. But but yeah, I think that everyone should be given their time to help out, kind of like you do, but you do it on a different level, which is amazing. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks, Pete. I was talking to someone the other day. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know like if this technically is true or not. But I've always felt when somebody's not happy or they're not feeling fulfilled in their life, the best way to get out of that rut, so to speak, and get into a good, healthy groove is to look around you at the other people in your life that are both present in your life day to day, and then those around you, strangers, and observe what other people are dealing with, what other people are going through. And sometimes just being a sounding board or sending an encouraging word, you know, I'm here for you, I'm praying for you, holding the door for somebody at Wawa, um, reframing our mind to think about how can we give and serve. Sometimes just that small step can begin the journey of greater fulfillment and satisfaction in life. Because when you start living, and you do it, I think, as parents, right? Because you're focusing now on your children. But when you think about how much suffering some people endure, and how great the need is, it could be any one of us that could be in that position where, we have a health issue and now we can't work, or
Yeah,
we lose our job, or, something happens, God forbid, and for whatever reason, there's a disability and someone gets sick in your family. We just never know what someone's going through emotionally or physically, psychologically. So extending that level of grace and compassion, whether it's providing a meal or providing a listening ear, I think as much as it is good that you're helping somebody else, it helps you. And I think that has, in my life at least, led to greater fulfillment. I always worry about the people that I can't get to. And I think, it's a never ending cycle. Like Jesus said, you're always gonna have the poor with you, but it doesn't mean that you don't do something about it. And that's why I always liked Mother Teresa's story. She would say that she would love until it hurt, and she would suffer with those. So that was her way of loving, meaning that she couldn't necessarily change everyone's circumstance, but she would suffer with them in solidarity, loving them where they're at. And I think a lot of times we want to change everything, understanding that there's limitations on what we can do overall in changing what is, but understanding that doesn't stop us from changing what we can change, those small differences in someone's life. So I just share that with you because I appreciate you volunteering and helping. And I think that for people that are listening today, that you don't have to run a food drive or serve food at a shelter to help somebody. Sometimes it's just listening and being kind and compassionate.
yeah, perfect.
So Is there anything else, Pete, that you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap up here? I mean, I've enjoyed our time. I can't believe almost an hour is gone.
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the event. Chili Cook Off is a great event. Head on out. Um, be great music, great food. Um, and yeah, be good to each other for sure. That's
Amen.
all.
Where can people find your music schedule? Is it on Instagram or Facebook? When you
Ah,
play live.
I can tell them good luck. I never, I never marketed the music. It's always just been where I go, and I try to post it, but I'm just having fun with it.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that, and hopefully you can record one of those albums because you have a lot of good music to share. And for anybody that has not heard Pete, you have to hear him. Amazing musician and an even better person. So
Thanks, brother.
we appreciate you being here today, Pete, with us on the F4 Hunger Awareness Show. For those that are listening on Spotify, YouTube, please subscribe. And we thank you in advance for your support of our organization as we work to end hunger and your support of Pete and his music. Thanks for being with us today, Pete.
Thanks a ton, Derek. Have a good one, brother.
Yep.